You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris Renaissance channel. Appreciate it, y'all. Thank y'all for making it on in. So hope everybody's been doing well. As usual, I've been busy. Got a whole lot going on, y'all. I don't know what it is about the summer. For some reason, during the summer, that is when the domestic violence rates that's my peak season. I don't know if because of the weather, maybe it's the heat that's making people lose their goddamn mind, whatever the case may be. But nevertheless, I appreciate it, y'all. Welcome to Cafe de Paris Renaissance, my co-ed channel for men and women, but mostly space for men. But nevertheless, I will welcome the ladies here as well. So anyway, let's get right into it. I thought it was imperative that I shared this because seeing this video made me realize that women are definitely up against the wall when it comes to their sons. And I mean that literally. And as much as women love to preach that they love being a single mom, they embrace being a single mother, they embrace being a mother and the father of the household, what they're not being honest about is when it comes to these sons, okay, which are young men that are transitioning into grown men, it becomes a lot more challenging because now this is not a little boy that you could pop on his hand and tell him to sit down and shut up and go make him stand in the corner. Sooner than later, these little boys become 6'5", they start developing muscles, they start getting some bass in their voice, you know what I mean? And they grow up overnight. And now you are not dealing with a little boy who you can tell what to do. You now have a young man that is transitioning to a grown man who now gets to make his own decisions. And depending on how you raised him, 9 times out of 10, your son could be your blessing or he could become a burden. But in this instant, in this generation, in this day and age, a lot of women are losing control over their sons. Their sons are handling them like they are their husbands. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that a lot of these mothers do not know when to wean their son off the nipple, when to take the nipple out their mouth. And now that these young men start raising up on them, start getting aggressive with them, now they no longer have any control, any authority over these young men who obviously have emotions like a woman because there's no man in the household. And that could be for several reasons. And we'll kind of go into that in a few. But let me show y'all why it's imperative that women need to start allowing men to be active fathers, for the men who want to be fathers anyway. A man who doesn't want to be a father, then unfortunately either she didn't choose right or either something happened. Maybe the father made choices that caused him to become incarcerated, so he's not out, he doesn't have any freedom to be a father, or maybe the father died from being reckless, making reckless decisions, being a street ninja, whatever the case may be. In most instances, though, these women have a choice, and the problem is, they have blocked the men out from being able to be fathers out of spite, out of revenge, and sooner or later, it comes back to haunt them in many ways. Now, again, if it doesn't apply, you don't have to reply. If you've been a kind of mother, you ain't been giving a man hell, you've been allowing him to be there, you're not manipulating him, you're not running game, you're allowing the man to have an active part in that child's life and he chooses not to be there, save your soap opera for another channel. Okay, this is not the space in which we're going to go back and forth with you about what I allowed my baby daddy to be there and he chose not to, ma'am. There's nothing I can do about that. Okay, so before bitter Brenda comes up in the comment section getting mad because I'm not speaking on points that's going to suit her narratives, let me just make sure I clear the room and let you gracefully exit the stage if this does not apply to you, okay? I know all situations are different. Some dudes are deadbeats, ain't shit guys, but guess what? That's who you chose for the father of your children, and there's nothing you can do about that. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's look into this. All right, let's go, let's go. And this is a trigger warning, okay? Trigger warning.
Oh! Alright, that's taking it a little too far. Okay, what's she gonna do? It doesn't matter, that's your mom. Stop fighting with her. I don't care, she shouldn't never slap me. So if you got somebody slap you, don't you know how to control yourself? She know how to. Yeah, because somebody slap you, you don't know how to control yourself? Stop fighting your mom. Like, what's your problem? Stop. Oh, okay. You have a fucking problem. Stop it. You think you have any other problems? I do too, bitch. Don't fucking play. Stop it. Stop it. If you talk me, I swear to God I'll get you killed. Don't play with me. Get me killed. I'll get you killed too, my homeboy. Try it. Swear to God, try it. Well, you think you hard and shit, you not. And you think you hard? I know I am. You think you hard? I know I am. You think you hard? Let me go. You're not fucking hard, bro. Let me go then, and I'll show you hard. No, I'm fucking hard. You leaving on the street right now? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Get your shit, Anthony. Hurry the fuck up! Where's your Luha? I don't know. Come look tonight. Hurry the fuck up! Hurry up! Tonight, come on, go. We gotta go. Get your fucking Luha, G.
Like I said, that was a trigger warning. Please make sure y'all go ahead and hit that like button. Hitting the like button does not mean that you agree with a young man beating up on his moms. It just means you like the fact that I am addressing this, okay? That you like the content. All right, let's just make sure we don't have anybody thinking otherwise. But anyway, go ahead and hit that like button if you have not already. This is a prime example as to why fathers are needed in the household, and I hate to say it, and I will say this: you do have some single mothers who have done very phenomenal jobs and had to do it on their own, maybe because the father was incarcerated, maybe because the father is strung out on drugs, maybe because the father died, maybe the father was in the military and you know, died, or maybe he died being a street thug, whatever the case may be, right? So, you know, I cannot knock all single mothers. You have some single mothers who did a great job. Their sons are successful. Their sons have not been in prison. Their sons have never physically assaulted them. So big ups to the single mothers who have done a successful job at raising their sons and their daughters correctly. Now, get down to the steak and potatoes of it. The truth is, most women, and if it doesn't apply, you ain't got to reply, let it fly. Most women cannot raise their sons to become a man. And I know this triggers a lot of women when I say it. You cannot raise a boy how to become a man. No more than a man cannot raise his daughter how to become a woman. Even a single father who has to raise his daughter, he's going to need another woman to step in and tell her about her menstruation, about her cramps, you know, certain things that as much as he loves his daughter, he's not going to be able to guide her in some areas of her life. It's going to take a woman to do that. Same thing, no matter how much you love your son, there's just certain goddamn things that you don't have the tools, you're not equipped to do. Okay? And I'm going to break down some of the reasons as to why it's very important for a man to be involved in his son's life, and why mothers need to stop being bitter, stop being evil, stop being wicked. Let these men play an active role. The fathers who want to be there, the fathers who take fatherhood seriously. I can't do nothing about deadbeat Daryl. Okay, again, that's your baby daddy. You picked him. You can't do nothing about deadbeat Daryl. Okay, so why is this important? Well, it's imperative that women allow men to father their sons, because fathers provide a different style of guidance and discipline that can complement a mother's parenting. So it's not that a mother is not important. It's not that she's not necessary. She's very much necessary. A mother is there to teach her, to give her son nurturing. But at the same time, while the woman is providing nurturing, the father has to be the one to provide him nature of what it takes to be a man out here, how they have to grind, how they cannot be emotional, how they have to discipline themselves and govern themselves in a masculine manner. A woman cannot do that. Okay, women, because we're emotional by nature, we can only instill emotional qualities within our sons. Okay, and that's why it's very imperative that a man is in his son's life, so he do not have these overly emotional feelings, right? And if you really think about it, a lot of the young men that I have ran across working at a county jail and in my profession as a family violence intervention provider, dealing with these cases of young men and older men who got anger issues, who have abusive tendencies and things of that nature. Most of the time, they come from households in which there was not a man there. DMX, God bless his soul, prime example. He did not have a father in his life. And the only woman who was in his life was very toxic, very abusive, very volatile. And that's the reason why DMX struggled having a stable relationship, a healthy relationship with women in his life. Okay, so it's important that men are there because they provide a structure and guidance that women, we're just not equipped to provide. The other reason is boys often benefit from having a positive male role model to demonstrate healthy masculinity. It's important. Let's just say this. You do have some young men who have had fathers in their life, but their fathers taught them toxic masculinity. And that's a story for another day. I don't want to move the goalpost too much, but it is important that women have to understand you cannot be everything to your baby boy. You just cannot be everything to him. He has to learn how to deal with his masculinity in a healthy way. And the only way that's going to happen, he's going to have a man in his life who is also stable, who is also responsible, who is also intrigued with emotional regulation skills. Because as a woman, you're not going to be able to teach your son emotional regulation skills. You're not going to be able to tell him as a man how he should control his anger. Now, you may be able to say certain things like, well, son, you got to not allow yourself to get upset and things of that nature. But coming from a woman, he's not really going to receive that correctly, because it's going to always be that part of him that's going to feel like you're a female, you're a woman, you don't get it, you're not going to understand. But when there's a man who identifies with him from a masculine standpoint, he's more than likely to receive and take in the message better, because he feels like, even though this is an older man, he knows that at the end of the day, it is a man and it's a male who can identify and can relate to his emotional immaturity, because at some point they struggle with emotional immaturity. And they need that type of role model. They need a man that in a life that has discipline, that has self-control. They can only mimic what they see. So it's very imperative that they're not just around a woman all the time, because women by nature, we are very emotional. We cry a lot. We get loud. We become argumentative. And then you wonder why some of these young men, they have emotions like a woman. They have these feminine feelings. They quit to get mad. They quit to get their feelings hurt. They quit to get offended. They don't have the masculine mentality to not feed into every emotion. But when you're around a woman all the time, and that's been the majority of your upbringing has been from a woman, more than likely you're going to adopt feminine feelings, and you're going to handle things in a feminine manner. And I don't mean feminine by just, carrying a pocketbook or wearing high heels. That's a whole nother different element. I'm talking about from the emotional standpoint, because you're around mom when mom has crashed out, and mom always dealt with things from an emotional standpoint. Because there was no man there to help with that balance, you're going to also handle things from an emotional standpoint. So they do need healthy masculinity in their life to keep them emotionally regulated and balanced. Fathers help teach emotional control, accountability, and respect through example. As I mentioned before, there's just a lot of things that a woman cannot teach a man. Only a man can talk to a young man and say, look here, partner, you can't be sitting up here letting no female stress you out like that. You a man. You gonna have to learn how to discipline your emotions. You can't be getting so emotional like a female. See, a female can't tell a young man, you don't need to get emotional like a female, because she is a female. He's not going to be able to distinguish as a woman how you're telling him he don't need to handle things like a woman. It's going to take a man to explain that to him in order for it to completely register correctly. An evolved father can reduce the likelihood of behavioral problems in children. A lot of these women have basically hurt themselves by being so evil. And again, I got nothing to do with the deadbeat Daryl who just doesn't want to be there. I'm talking about the women who maliciously will not allow a man to partake in his son's life. And they wonder why their sons have so much emotional imbalance. They wonder why their sons are always in the streets, why they are participating in gangs, why they are following the wrong crowd, because he's yearning that masculine support. It's but so much, a woman can provide for a young man, a mother can provide. And it's not that her value is less than. It is just important that a young man has some type of masculine presence in his life, because it's going to be things he's going to go through as a man that a woman can't always identify with. It's going to take a man to make him mentally prepared for the street life out there, for women who are vindictive. And let me tell you another thing. This is a prime example. Now that I'm on that, this is why women cannot teach a man how to become a man, right? Because, for example, what's the odds of a woman telling her son how it's women out here who are malicious, it's women out here who are gold diggers, it's women out here who are trying to get pregnant from them on purpose and ruin them? Now, you do have some women that's going to keep it real and tell their sons what to look out for. But the truth of the matter is, you have a lot of women who aren't going to go there and tell their sons the truth about women, because that means she's going to have to be transparent about what kind of woman she is. Okay, if mom was a hoe, how she's going to tell her son, you need to stay away from these hoes, because she may not be able to school him on women to avoid, because that would mean she is also kind of telling on herself in a sense, right? You have a lot of women out here moving foul. You have a lot of women out here who are malicious, who are wicked, and they're not going to tell their sons to stay away from women like that. Why? Because they too are like that. Okay? And telling your son to stay away from a hood rat when you a hood rat, the odds of doing that is slim to none. It's not too many women that's going to tell their sons to stay away from women that are not the opposite of them. For instance, you have a lot of women who have sons, and because they were single mothers and had them young, they're not going to tell their sons to stay away from single mothers, because that's almost like them. That's like them admitting that they are failures, knowing that their sons do not need to be putting themselves in a position in which they should be playing daddy to another young female who decided to be fast and grow up before her time, and now she's looking for somebody to simp and help her to take care of a responsibility she created. See, hood rats are not going to tell their sons to avoid hood rats. Gold diggers are not going to tell their sons to avoid gold diggers. See, this is where the man, that masculine counterpart, has to sit down and have those conversations, because one thing about men compared to women, a man will sit up here and say, listen, I'm going to tell you, I used to be a hoe back in the day. That's why I got so many different baby mamas. Don't do what I did. Don't be like me. Don't be going out here slinging pee. And see, a real OG, a man is going to tell a young OG that, right? Ain't too many women going to sit up there and tell a son, hey, son, stay away from a woman who has multiple kids from multiple men, because I did it. You and all your siblings, all y'all got different daddies. Don't meet a woman like me. See, women ain't about to go there. You get what I'm saying? So this is where young men lose out on essential information that women should be sharing with their sons. And they're not going to do that. Their sons are going to end up meeting women just like them. Why? Because mom didn't want to keep it a buck and tell her son to avoid women like her. Make sure you hit that like button, because I'm schooling y'all here. You know what I'm saying? I'm dropping some gems. So anyway, children with engaged fathers often show greater confidence and self-esteem. When men have their fathers in their life, it's just things that dads teach them to help build that confidence. A father could teach them how to build things, how to fix things, how to repair things. These are things that moms cannot always do. Now, this doesn't mean I'm discrediting mothers who haven't had to teach their sons how to put a tire on and things like that. But what I'm saying is, confidence as a man comes from confidence being instilled in you from a man. A man teaching you how to solve problems, teaching you how to keep your emotions in check when you want to crash out. Anytime a young man has a father that's actively engaged in his life, it does help to build his confidence and self-esteem. I get it, mama. You want to be the only one to tell him he's doing a great job. You want to be the only one to tell him that you're proud of him. But just because that's what you want for him, that doesn't mean that's all that he needs. Okay, he still needs a father that's going to give him that extra sense of confidence that women alone cannot provide as mothers. Okay, fathers can model how to handle conflict without aggression. Only a man could tell a young man how to keep his emotions in check. Okay, and I've already kind of mentioned that before. But when a young man is constantly around his mama, he's seen his mama throwing shit when she get mad, seeing her yelling and screaming. If that's all that's been mimicked around him, okay, the majority of his youth, he's going to think that that's acceptable. There's no way, basically, there's no way you're not going to be around a woman the majority of your life and you don't start behaving or responding in the manner that women do. There's just no way they're going to get around that. And this is the reason why you have so many women that end up getting involved with dudes that crash out easily, quick to get their feelings hurt, quick to get emotional about stuff. It's because there was not a father, there was not a man there teaching him how to deal with conflict, teaching him how to handle his aggression. Mama sit up there and try to hold him and cuddle him and comfort him. And his father say, boy, if you don't get your behind up out of here and stop sitting up here crying over that woman, acting like that's the last woman on this planet, you better stand up and be a man and get over it. Life goes on. Hell, you lose one, there's several others out there. You catch the next bus, you miss that one. That she not the best thing happening. You know, now women, we can try to mimic that, and we may even deliver the same message, but it just doesn't hit the same. It hit different when it's coming from a man. Another reason is active fathers help reinforce boundaries, rules, and consistency. I've seen too many women, not all, if it doesn't apply, you got to reply. I've seen a lot of mothers bend the rules for their baby boys. Okay. If he doesn't get a job, they still buy his Jordans. If he stops taking care of his kids, they still babysit the kids, the grandkids and stuff like that. Men, on the other hand, they're a little bit more stern and strict. They don't play the radio. You know what I mean? They're not gonna let their sons manipulate them but so much. You know, a man is gonna tell his son, you're a grown man, you decided to have these kids, you got to get a job, you got to handle your business. It is what it is. I'm not babysitting nothing, I'm not doing nothing, I'm not helping you with that. You got to figure out a way. I had to figure out a way how to feed you, how to take care of you. Well, women, because we have that soft spot, we don't want our grandkids to suffer. So you're more than likely, you know what I mean, to bend the rules. And your son knows that. Your son knows that even if you don't get a job, even if you don't do a damn thing, that you're going to have your grandchildren or your heart throb. So you'll go against the grain just to make sure that your son has what your grandchildren have what they need, even if it's at the expense of your pockets. Your grown adult son who is able-bodied, not disabled, capable of working, he knows you're going to catch his back. He knows that you're going to step in and pick up the slack for him. Unlike active fathers, and as I said, active fathers. So, bitter Brenda, do not comment in my comment section. We don't care about your deadbeat Daryl. We talk about active fathers, men who want to be there for their sons, men who want a relationship with his children. They're more than likely to reinforce boundaries and rules that mama not going to do. Mama going to get soft. Mama going to have a heart. And mama going to make a way out of no way while son keep making excuses. While her baby boy keeps making excuses. Okay, fathers can help prepare sons for manhood by teaching responsibility, work ethic, and integrity. If he's a real father who's always working, always providing, guess what? He's going to pass down those qualities to his son. Okay, now if he's a deadbeat Daryl, a man cannot teach another young man something that he doesn't have. Okay, but a man who has character, who has direction, he'll more than likely point his son to making better decisions. Why? Because him as a man growing up, he understood the cost of consequences, and he understands the importance of responsibilities. And because he understands that, most than likely, he's going to also pass those same characteristics to his son. Okay, he will make it more clear to him why it's important as a man that a man has an identity, he has a purpose, he has direction in his life. Women, we can kind of reiterate on this, and we could point them certain directions for certain things, but for the most part, it's going to take a man to do that. See, a young man can get away with playing with his mama. I don't want that kind of job. I don't want to work there. I don't like how the people are. See, women, we allow the mothers allow their sons to play on their emotions, to play on their feelings. But daddy ain't going there. A real father gonna tell him, you're behind. If you got to go wash cars, you need to go make some money, son. Okay? If you got to go buy used lawnmower from a pawn shop. Matter of fact, I'll give you one of my old lawnmowers. It still work good. Go around here and talk to some neighbors. Start a little business. Start cutting grass and put money aside. See, women, we don't want our boys to get hurt. Oh, it's too hot for him to be cutting his grass out here. He don't need to be cutting that big old lawn. He don't need to be pulling those logs back and forth. See, women, we just way too soft. Not all. Doesn't apply. You got to reply. Now, if you're one of them military mamas, you used to doing a lot of hard work, you may move a little different. But for most parts, most mothers are too soft on their sons. Their sons could tell them, oh, my foot will hurt. I don't like standing on my foot all day. Young man ain't going to be able to play them games with an older man. Not with his father. You're not going to be able to play. Matter of fact, long story short, my husband, his nephew, was having girl problems, was having woman problems. You know, he wasn't working, making enough money, and a young girl who already had a child, which he ain't even had no business with a young woman who had a kid, cause he ain't got no kids. But see, this is what happens when you don't have a father in your life. So my son, my husband's nephew, his dad been in and out of prison, and his mama, that's a whole nother story. Her elevator don't go all the way up, and I'm not going through all that. But anyway, he ain't had any real guidance. So when he got with a young woman who already had a kid, he shouldn't even got involved with a woman who got a kid, but she pretty much female who had a kid, but she turned him out. You know how that go. And he wasn't used to no attention from a female, so being that she was attractive, pretty, he overlooked the fact that she had a kid. He just was infatuated with the fact she wanted him, you know. So anyway, as I was saying, so yeah. So what ended up happening was the girl reached out, I guess, to my husband on Facebook and was saying, y'all need to come get him because he won't work, you know what I mean? And I can't deal with the fact that he quitting jobs, he doing this, he doing that. I got a child I got to raise. My family is giving me a hard time about being with him. Nephew had a lot of emotional issues. He didn't know how to deal with relationships. He didn't know how to deal with women. None of that because he didn't have a solid father figure in his life teaching him how to deal with women, how to discipline his emotions when it comes to women. So anyway, my husband reached out to him like, nephew, what's going on? It got to be bad if your girlfriend is reaching out to me on Facebook and telling me, you know what I mean, that she wants you gone. Like somebody need to come get you. Somebody need to find somewhere for you to go. What's going on? So he ended up telling him, yeah, I was there for her when she had got in that car accident and she couldn't walk for a week or two. And I was wiping her behind and doing this and doing that. And now her family, because I'm struggling and because I'm going through, and because I'm kind of having I'm having a temporary financial hardship, they telling her to dump me and get rid of me, and she listening to them and this and that. And that's when I was out to tell them, look here, son, listen, I get all of that. That's great that you was there for her and helped her to the bathroom, but where's the job? You need to work. You got to make some money. I mean, that's a nice gesture, but after a while, a woman gonna want financial security. You thinking as long as you're a nice guy and you're doing nice gestures, that's enough to keep a woman happy. But no, you got to work. You got to pay bills, man. You got to, get you a job where you're going to help with income. The girl up here saying that y'all about to lose the room, how her family coming down hard on her because you a bum and she trying to stick with you. And now she realized she got to make a decision because she's about to lose her support by supporting you. And of course, because he ain't had no father figure, he's up there. Well, yeah, I don't want to do this kind of job. And I did go to a job interview and I'm waiting on the people to call me back. And I somebody was like, no, son, nah, you don't wait on no job to call you back. Until then, you might have to go, wash some cars. You may have to go, go on some construction sites. See if you could pass some equipment. You a man. This ain't no, we ain't got that kind of bloodline where we picky about what kind of work we do. Work is work. You're going to have to get up off your behind and be a man and get you any kind of work. This ain't about you going to interviews and sitting around and waiting for people to call you. You is not a female. What is you doing? You get what I'm saying? But that's how it is when you don't have a man in your life. You know what I mean? A man is going to tell his son, bruh, this ain't the time to be sitting around crying and feeling sorry for yourself. You waiting for the perfect job that you like. Nah, you might have to, as a man, you got to take a job you don't want until you get the job that you really do want. You don't sit around and wait for something to happen. So basically, that's what ended up happening. And, he swallowed his pride and went to, getting a job, I guess, with a furniture place where they put together furniture and they move furniture. But he's doing a little bit better now. But again, it took him getting that masculine prep talk for him to understand that. Because his mama was trying to talk it into him. He wasn't getting it. His girlfriend was trying to explain to him, I need you to get a job. He wasn't getting it. But it took him hearing from another man that you got to do what you got to do. You can't sit in your soft hand era. You're not a woman. You're not a female. You can't sit in your soft hand era. Okay? Also, daughters can benefit from healthy father involvement by developing positive expectations for how they should be treated. Absolutely. Even though this content is particularly about sons who are handling their mothers in a unmannerable way, it's important that fathers are also there for their daughters too. We can't teach our daughters everything when it comes to men. There's a lot of tricks, a lot of games out there that only men can truly prepare their daughters for. So men are also important as fathers when it comes to daughters as well. Also, two engaged parents can better share the emotional and physical demands. With both parents being there, that's a bonus for a son to also have, and a daughter to have both components there that can both offer different perspective and also add wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Also, children benefit from seeing healthy cooperation and teamwork. A lot of these women are not understanding. You know what I mean? When you disrespecting his father and you calling him all kind of disrespectful names and stuff like that, you're teaching your son that it's okay for him to be disrespected by other females. A lot of women ain't understanding the way you treat your son's father. That is how he is going to think that it's okay for women to treat him the same way. So you as the mother, he's seen you cuss his daddy out. You calling his daddy all the sorry mother uppers, and you're trying to emasculate his father. You don't think that there's women out there that's just as females out there that's just as ruthless and nasty as you, that's not going to emasculate him. And guess what? He's not even going to consider it disrespectful because you've normalized that it's okay to disrespect his father in front of him. So you can't call the pot, can't call the kettle black. You get what I'm saying? An involved father can help reduce parental stress by sharing responsibilities. While your son is over there beating your ass and dragging you around and fighting you like you a female in front of the hood chevron, this is where a man should have been involved. You should have the kind of relationship with your son's father when things like that, before it escalate, you can call his dad. Hey, so-and-so, little J over here wilding out. I need you to come over here. But this is the problem. A lot of these women, they only want the fathers involved when the son get out of hand and disrespect him, when they should have allowed that man to be the father to that child from day one. You don't wait till the boy damn near 17, 18, and he done develop biceps and triceps, and now you want his father, who damn near 50 or 60, to try to manhandle him. No, you should allow that man that had been there from day one to train that boy on not to handle you and rough you in an inappropriate manner as his mother. No, you want to do it all. You want to be nasty. You want to be spiteful. You ain't want the man to have a relationship with the son. Now the son jacking you up against the wall. He's slapping you around and knocking you around, choking you, grabbing you, snatching you up. And you too embarrassed to reach out to the father of your child because you have been so malicious and evil and vindictive. Or you done ran a man off. Well, he just don't want to deal with you because you too much. You too disrespectful. Well, a real man gonna be there for his child no matter what. No, you don't get to pick and choose how you can disrespect somebody and then have the audacity to try to manipulate and gaslight that person and not wanting to deal with your disrespect to deal with their son or their daughter. No, ma'am. If you think you got it all figured out, then do it by yourself. And then when these kids start whipping your behind, guess what? You're gonna have to woman up and deal with that. You didn't allow man to be there, and the son know his father ain't there, and the son takes advantage because he knows that you don't even like his daddy. So when he get to whipping your ass, even he know that his father is not coming to rescue you from him. See, women, y'all don't think that far ahead. Y'all don't think that deep. Okay, y'all don't think about stuff like that. That same man that you disrespect gonna be the same man that you gonna need when he start grabbing you by your neck. It is what it is. He can help alleviate your stress. One call, that's all. Daddy show up on the scene, that's a whole different energy. Hey, boy, you're not going to put your hands on your mama in front of me. I don't care how much me and her don't get along with each other. You're not going to hit your mama. And guess what? I've seen more men come to a woman's defense for their son, to come to a woman's defense, even though that woman has disrespected him multiple times. then I have seen a woman come to the defense of the father who she disrespected. You actually have women who will co-sign the child disrespecting the father, especially if she can't stand him. But very rarely, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but very rarely do I hear fathers encouraging their child to disrespect the mother, even though, simply because he don't like her. I've seen women do it all the time. I haven't seen too many men do it. I ain't saying it never happens, but most of the time, women, when they're angry with the father, they will give the children a pass to disrespect them. And see, what you're doing is you're creating karma, because the fact that you think it's acceptable for the kids to disrespect the daddy because you don't like the daddy, them same turn around and disrespect you, and now the daddy can't come to your defense. You got to be careful doing stuff like that. I won't be surprised if half of the women we seen in this video are the same women who done sat up there and told their fathers, we don't need you. I got this. I don't need your help. I got it all figured out. I'm just hypothetically speaking. But you have a lot of women who create these monsters and then get mad when the monster get out of control. And lastly, fathers can provide unique perspectives on problem solving, resilience, and overcoming adversity. Sometimes as mothers, you don't have all the answers. You need that second voice of reason. There's been times when I was stressed out with my daughter, couldn't figure stuff out, and I would go to her dad, because, of course, we're married, but I would have to have those conversations with him, because I would be way in over my head, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And then he would like, this is what we need to do. This is how we need to approach it. This is how we need to, when two parents can come together and put all the bullshit aside, there's so much more y'all can get accomplished. And it makes it so much easier as a woman when you ain't got to do it all by yourself, when you allow a man to step in and alleviate you. So, of course, dads provide more than just money. They also can provide wisdom, knowledge, understanding, discipline, problem solving, solutions to I can't talk, basically. Solutions to problems, okay? I'm not going to use too much high vocabulary tonight, but y'all feel my drift. So, lastly, in conclusion, y'all, fathers aren't important because mothers are incapable. Fathers are important because children deserve the strengths that both parents bring whenever possible. A father's presence is not a replacement for a mother, and a mother is not a replacement for a father. They each contribute something valuable. Anyway, leave y'all comment below. Let me know what y'all think about this video with all of these young men fighting their mothers and physically putting their hands on them. We in our last days, y'all. It's going to be a lot of situations like this, unfortunately. So, women, if you can, put your pride aside. Let these men be a father to their children. You're not going to be able to do it all by yourself, okay? Anyway, y'all take care. And of course, make sure y'all hit that like button before y'all exit. I would gladly appreciate it. Thank you very much.